He told the cop, "I'm with the FBI." The officer just said, "I don't care." 10 minutes later, guess who ended up in handcuffs? It was 6:42 p.m. when Malik Townsend noticed flashing lights in his rearview mirror. The sun hadn't completely set yet. That soft golden glow stretched across the rooftops in Dinwiddie County, Virginia. Kids were still riding their bikes. A few sprinklers clicked on in front yards. Malik was just trying to get home. He'd left Norfolk about 2 hours earlier after a long shift with the Joint Task Force. It had been a slow day, just briefings, planning, paperwork, no arrests, no danger, just a clipboard and cold coffee. Now he was driving down a quiet neighborhood road about 20 minutes from his house in Petersburg. He wasn't in a hurry. His black Dodge Charger moved steadily at 28 miles per hour. No music, no calls, just the low hum of the AC and the sound of tires on pavement. Then came the sheriff's SUV. No siren, just lights. It pulled up fast and close behind him. Malik let out a slow breath through his nose. He turned on his signal and pulled over. This wasn't the first time he'd been stopped by police, but that didn't make it feel normal, not for someone who looked like him, not in a neighborhood like this. He shut off the engine, rolled the window halfway down, and placed both hands on the wheel, visible, steady, and slow. Every move was careful, on purpose. The officer stepped out. White, stocky, maybe 6 feet tall, wearing black sunglasses even though the sun was nearly gone. His right hand rested a little too close to his holster, enough to make a point. He didn't say hello or give his name. He walked up like he was already expecting trouble. "You live around here?" he asked. Malik didn't look at him, just stared forward, calm. "I do." The officer tilted his head like he didn't buy it. "License and registration?" Malik gave a small nod. "Sure, my wallet's in my jacket on the passenger seat. Registration's in the glove box. I'm going to reach for them slowly, okay?" The officer said nothing, just stared. Malik moved slowly, carefully. He took the wallet first, then the registration. He placed them both on the dashboard before handing them over. "Mind telling me why you pulled me over?" The cop glanced at the documents but didn't take them. "You were creeping through the neighborhood." "Creeping?" Malik raised an eyebrow. The officer repeated it, like it was an actual crime. Slowing down, looking at houses, someone called it in. Malik blinked. "I was going 28, just trying to get home." "You got anything in the car I should know about?" Malik looked right at him. "Excuse me?" The officer stepped back a little. "I'm asking if there's any reason you're acting nervous." Malik held in a dry laugh. "I'm not nervous. I'm tired. Been working since 7 this morning. I'd just like to get home." "Step out of the vehicle." Malik paused. "For what?" "I gave you a command." He took a breath. Things were moving fast. "Officer," he said, reaching slowly toward the passenger seat. "I'm a federal agent, FBI. My badge and ID are in this wallet. If you'll just take a second." "I don't care who you say you are. Out of the car, now!" The words hit harder than they should have, not because they were loud, but because of what was behind them. Malik opened the wallet and held it up through the window. The badge caught the last bit of sunlight. His name and title were clear. Special Agent Malik Townsend, Norfolk Field Office. "I'm not a threat, I'm just trying to get home." The officer didn't even look at the badge, didn't blink. "I've got a male refusing to comply," he said into his shoulder mic. "Claims to be FBI, requesting backup." Malik's jaw tightened, not from anger, but from restraint. This wasn't a misunderstanding anymore. This was on purpose. Before he could say anything else, the officer's hand moved closer to his belt. And Malik knew where this was going. He didn't move a muscle. Still held the badge up high. Eyes locked on the cop. "Sir," he said again, his voice firm and cold, "you're making a mistake." The officer's name tag said Ellison. Not new, but not a veteran. The kind of guy who knew just enough to throw his weight around, but not enough to know when to stop. "I'm not going to ask you again," Ellison snapped. "Get out of the car, hands where I can see them." Malik looked straight at him, right through him. "I've already told you who I am. You haven't said what I did wrong, and you haven't even looked at my ID." Ellison's jaw tightened. He didn't like that tone. Calm, steady, confident. Like Malik knew the law better than he did. "You think waving that fake badge gives you the right to talk back?" he snapped. Malik didn't answer. He slowly unbuckled his seatbelt, opened the door, and stepped out with his hands raised. "I'm cooperating," he said clearly. "But listen carefully. I'm not resisting. I'm not a threat, and you need to get your supervisor here, right now." Ellison stepped forward and shoved Malik on the shoulder, hard enough to send a message, not enough to knock him over. This wasn't about safety anymore. Malik didn't react. He stood tall, didn't flinch. "I'm not warning you as a civilian," he said in a quiet, sharp voice. "I'm warning you as a federal agent. Every second of this is being noticed. Every move you make will be reviewed." Ellison's breathing grew heavier, chest puffed out like a boxer ready to fight. He stepped closer. "You threatening me?" "No," Malik said. "That's not a threat. That's a warning." For a brief moment, everything was still. Then Ellison spun Malik around and grabbed his arms, yanking them behind his back. Malik didn't resist, not because he couldn't, but because staying calm was the stronger choice. Ellison pulled out the cuffs and locked one around Malik's wrist. That's when people started noticing. A woman across the street watering her plants froze with the hose in her hand. A man walking his dog stopped and stared. Phones came out. One teenager was already recording from a porch. Malik met his eyes for a moment but didn't say anything, just let the camera keep rolling. "I want to be very clear," Malik said loudly enough for everyone to hear. "I am Special Agent Malik Townsend with the FBI. I am being detained unlawfully. I have not resisted. This officer is breaking protocol." "Keep talking," Ellison muttered. "We'll see what your story is once you're in my cruiser." At that moment, Ellison's radio crackled. Backup was on the way, arriving in 2 minutes. Ellison turned Malik toward the hood of his car and leaned in close. "I don't care who you say you are. You don't belong here, and if you're lying, you're going down hard." Malik didn't move. He wasn't scared. He was furious, but not loud, controlled. "You don't get to decide who belongs where," he said. "That badge on your chest doesn't give you the right to ignore mine." Ellison didn't reply. He just snapped on the second cuff, tight, too tight, on purpose. Malik took a long breath and stared straight ahead. The street had gone silent. Even the cicadas had stopped humming. Then, in the distance, came the lights. 2 more cruisers turning the corner. Backup had arrived. The second car pulled in fast, lights still flashing. A third followed and came to a slow stop behind Ellison's SUV. The lead car's door opened and a tall woman in uniform stepped out. Mid-40s, slim build, dark brown hair pulled into a tight bun. She walked with quiet authority. No rush, no hesitation. Lieutenant Karina Voss. She scanned the scene. A black man in handcuffs beside a black Charger. A white officer looking charged up, ready for a fight. And people on both sides of the street watching, recording. "Status!" Voss called out. Ellison straightened. His voice came out too loud. Suspect was acting erratic. Claimed to be FBI. Refused to exit the vehicle. Non-compliant. Voss turned to Malik. She studied him, his calm stance, steady breathing, the silence he held. Then she spotted the badge wallet on the roof of the car. She stepped forward, picked it up, flipped it open. It took her less than 2 seconds. Her head jerked slightly. Her eyes moved from the wallet to Ellison, then to Malik. "Special Agent Townsend?" she asked, this time with recognition in her voice. Malik nodded once. "That's right." Ellison looked confused. "Wait, what?" Voss closed the wallet, holding it tightly. "You cuffed a federal agent?" she asked Ellison directly. "He ignored my commands. He was driving slowly, looking at houses. Someone called it in. I followed protocol." "Protocol?" Voss repeated, her tone sharpening. "Which part of protocol says to ignore a federal ID and put someone in cuffs without checking it first?" Ellison opened his mouth. Nothing came out. Voss turned to Malik. "Agent Townsend, are you hurt?" "No," he said, "just disrespected." She gave a firm nod. "I'll have those cuffs taken off right now. I apologize for what happened." She looked over her shoulder. "Officer Vega, uncuff him." A younger officer stepped forward, hesitated for a second, then did what he was told. Malik stretched his arms once the cuffs were off, red marks already showing. "Are you carrying?" Voss asked, glancing at his side. "I'm off duty, no weapon." She nodded, already processing everything quickly. Ellison stepped forward, trying to speak again. "Lieutenant, with all due respect—" He didn't clearly identify himself, Ellison said quickly. "He was being vague. I was following up on a 911 call." "Was the vehicle stolen?" Voss asked. "No." "Was he aggressive?" "No," Ellison muttered. "Did he resist?" Ellison paused. He had an attitude. Voss raised her eyebrows. "An attitude?" There was a long pause. "I want your body cam footage. Now," she said. "In the car," he mumbled. "Go get it." As Ellison stomped off toward his cruiser, Malik stepped a little closer to Voss and spoke low. "You just saved him." He was this close to creating a memory he'd never come back from. Voss nodded. "I've seen that look before, too many times. Good men, bad men, it's not policing. It's ego." Malik looked over at the neighbors still gathered. A few were whispering. The teenager still had his phone up, recording. Malik didn't feel humiliated. He felt aware, completely, painfully aware of what could have happened and who would have been blamed if it had. Just before Ellison came back, Malik turned and faced his car, because this was no longer about who was in control. It was about what was true. Ellison returned, holding the body cam unit like it was some kind of prize. Voss didn't say a word. She just held out her hand. He hesitated, then gave it to her. She pressed play. Officers nearby shifted uneasily in the heat, watching. The sun was almost gone now, leaving just a smear of orange behind the rooftops. The street glowed, patrol car lights and phone screens lighting the quiet. The footage was clear. Malik's voice was calm, professional. "You live around here?" "I do. My wallet's in my jacket. Registration's in the glove box." "Officer, I'm a federal agent, FBI. I've already identified myself. You haven't told me what I've done wrong." The longer it played, the more Voss's expression hardened. Her jaw tightened. Her brow dropped. She didn't ask questions. She didn't need to. Malik stood a few feet away, arms crossed. He wasn't watching the footage. He was watching Ellison. When it ended, Voss clicked the cam off and handed it back. "You violated protocol," she said flatly. "You escalated without cause, ignored lawful ID, and unlawfully detained a federal officer." Ellison shifted his weight, his face starting to flush. "Lieutenant, he had an attitude. He was challenging me. That's not how traffic stops are supposed to go." "He had an attitude," Voss cut in. Her voice didn't rise, but it hit hard. "Did you ever think maybe that attitude came from being pulled over in his own neighborhood for driving under the speed limit?" Ellison opened his mouth again. She stopped him with a look. "Enough. I'm reporting this to Internal Affairs. Effective immediately. You're relieved of duty pending investigation." "You're serious?" he asked. "You think I'm just going to stand here and—" "You think I'm going to cover this up?" She shot back. "There are phones on you, cameras. I've got a body cam that tells the same story they do." Ellison looked stunned. Accountability wasn't supposed to come this fast, not in front of everyone. Voss stepped in closer, chest to chest. "You cuffed a federal agent for absolutely nothing. You think your badge makes you untouchable? It doesn't. You don't get to rewrite the rules just because you're in a mood." Malik glanced down at his wrists, still red, still sore. "I don't want an apology," he said quietly. "I want accountability." Voss nodded slowly. "You're about to get it." Just then, the teenager from the porch stepped forward. "You got it all?" Malik asked. The kid nodded. "Every second." "Good. Keep it safe." The boy swallowed. "You okay, sir?" Malik didn't answer right away. He looked at Ellison, still frozen, trying to figure out how his grip on power had slipped in under 20 minutes. Then Malik looked at the boy again. "I will be," he said. Ellison glanced down at his radio like it might save him. It didn't. "Vega," Voss called out. "Take Officer Ellison into custody. Standard procedure. Handcuffs. Miranda. Same as anyone else." The street went razor quiet. Even the birds were still. Officer Vega blinked. "You want me to, You heard me." Ellison went pale. "Wait, what? You're arresting me?" "You assaulted a federal agent," Voss said, "and you lied in your report. That's not just bad procedure. It's a crime." Malik said nothing. He didn't need to. As Vega slowly turned Ellison around and cuffed him, Malik finally looked away, not out of pity, but because justice wasn't about watching someone fall. It was about making sure they couldn't drag others down with them. The street stayed quiet, heavy. The sound of the cuffs locking clicked louder than it should have. No yelling, no resistance, just shock. Ellison didn't fight. He didn't have time to understand what was happening to him. Voss didn't gloat, didn't smirk, just stayed focused. "Put him in the back of your unit," she said. "I'll write the charges." Vega nodded, still trying to catch up. Malik stepped back to his car, rubbing his wrists again. Then he leaned against the door, breathing slow. Across the street, the woman with the hose was still standing in place, frozen. The man walking his dog had his phone out now, too. This wasn't just another traffic stop gone wrong. It was something more now. It was being seen. Voss walked over, hands behind her back, posture straight. "I'm sorry, Agent Townsend. No excuses. This shouldn't have happened." Malik gave a tight nod. "I appreciate that. But let's not pretend this is rare." Voss didn't flinch. "It's not. But today, someone saw it. That matters." They stood there for a moment in the fading light, tension still humming in the air, like heat after a fire. "Do you want to file a complaint internally, or have the Bureau handle it?" she asked. "I'll go through Bureau channels," Malik said, "but I want full access to the footage. His, yours, all of it." "You'll have it," she said. "Already secured. Already backed up." Malik nodded, then tilted his head slightly. "You mind if I see the clip one more time? From your angle?" She hesitated a beat, then tapped her body cam. The small screen glowed between them. There it was, Malik behind the wheel, calm, controlled, offering ID, staying level, even as Ellison's voice rose. "Then, officer, I'm a federal agent. You think I care who you say you are? Out of the car now. This is a mistake. Get your hands where I can see them." Malik watched it like he was watching someone else, like a version of himself through a two-way mirror. One who didn't flinch, didn't curse, didn't move wrong, even when every muscle in his body screamed to. Then came the sound. Click, click, the cuffs. He closed his eyes, just breathed. "Mind sending that to me?" he asked. Voss nodded. "Already did." A voice spoke up behind them. "You were real composed, man." Malik turned. The teenager, maybe 16, was still holding his phone, still recording. "You didn't yell, didn't swing, didn't even flinch." "I shouldn't have to," Malik said. The kid looked down. "If it was me, I don't know if I could have kept my cool." Malik stepped toward him, quiet but serious. "You don't have to prove you're calm to stay alive. That's not a rule. That's survival. But yeah, sometimes staying calm is staying alive." The boy nodded slowly. His eyes said the rest. Fear, respect, a little fire. "What's your name?" "Jaden." "Well, Jaden, keep that video safe. Not for me, for you." "Yes, sir," Jaden said, eyes wide. Malik turned back to his car, hand resting on the roof, like he needed to feel something solid. But before he could climb in, Voss called out one last time. He turned, raising an eyebrow. She didn't come over. She stood near the hood of her cruiser, voice steady. "Before you go, I need a formal witness statement. Here or at the station?" Malik glanced down the block. Neighbors were drifting back inside. Some still lingered. watching, waiting. Jayden stood near the curb, thumbs flying across his phone screen, probably uploading already. "I'll come by tomorrow," Malik said. "Right now I just want to go home." Voss nodded. No pushback. Understood. He opened the door but paused, looking back. "You think anything will actually happen to him?" Voss crossed her arms. "I can't promise discipline," she said. "But tonight I can promise truth. And sometimes that's where accountability begins." Malik nodded, not satisfied but grounded. As he sat behind the wheel, Voss added, "For what it's worth, thank you for staying composed, for setting the bar higher than he ever deserved." Malik shook his head. "I didn't do it for him." He shut the door, started the engine, rolled slowly from the curb. The sun was gone now. Streetlights flickered on, one by one. He didn't drive fast, just cracked the window, let the night air in, and headed back toward Petersburg. Wrists sore, mind sharper than ever. Back at the scene, Voss watched his taillights fade. Then she turned. Ellison sat in the back of Vega's cruiser, red-faced, stunned. His mouth moved, but no sound came out, like he was only now realizing the badge didn't make him immune. Voss stepped up to the door. "You're being charged with unlawful detainment, excessive use of force, and failure to follow lawful ID protocol." He blinked, like he hadn't heard her right. "Come on, Karina, you're not seriously charging me? You think you're above this?" "I made a call based on behavior. I thought he was lying." "You didn't think," she snapped. "You didn't pause, didn't check. He showed you ID and you ignored it because you weren't interested in truth. You were interested in control." He laughed bitterly. "So now I'm the bad guy." "No," she said. "You're the guy who thought the rules only applied to other people." She stepped back, tapped the window. "Take him in," she told Vega. As the cruiser pulled away, a few neighbors clapped, just 2 or 3. Slow, uncertain, but real. Not for the arrest, for the fact that someone saw and did something. Jayden walked up beside her, eyes following the car. "Think he'll lose his badge?" Voss looked at him. "Depends who's watching." He nodded, holding up the phone. "They're watching now." She didn't answer, just nodded once and walked back to her unit. The next morning, Malik's inbox was full. Messages from the Bureau, Internal Affairs, a couple journalists. They all wanted the same thing, statements, context, a quote. He didn't reply, not yet. Instead, he sat at his kitchen table with a black coffee and watched Jayden's video again. Over and over, the way Ellison barked orders, the way Malik held still, the way Voss stepped in, not to delay justice, but to deliver it. He shut the screen, looked out the window. Justice isn't always loud. Sometimes it's just someone showing up and doing the damn job. And if you're watching that video thinking, that could have been me, you're not wrong. It happens every day. But what changes things, what shifts the ground, is when people are held accountable, no matter what badge they wear. So record, speak up, share, stand firm when it counts. Because respect isn't about the badge, it's about how you wear it. And the next time someone thinks authority means impunity, remind them, real power doesn't prove itself, it just does the right thing.